Story 1. Dear daughter, I want to explain why I could not be there for you as much as I wanted. Please know that no matter the circumstances, I have always loved you deeply. My absence does not reflect my feelings for you. You have always been in my heart, and that will never change. With all my love. Story 2. Wipe all the dirty stuff off my phone, give my family all of my banking passwords, and spend every last second with them. Story 3. I would spend time with my partner of 10 years, but otherwise, I would engage in self-destructive behaviors such as overeating junk food and taking large doses of 3,4-methylenedioxymethamphetamine. To be clear, I am not saying I want to spend my last hours raving or anything like that. It is just the type of high that makes you deeply feel your love for things while not caring about the things bothering you. That seems like an ideal state for rapidly impending doom. Story 4. Go for lunch and a long walk with family. Then fall asleep watching something funny and silly while sitting with my pet and drinking a cup of hot chocolate with marshmallows. Story 5. Make sure my best friend knows she will be obligated to catch up on One Piece on my behalf and let me know how it ends. Story 6. I would probably die early from an emotional overload of anxiety, fear, anger, and all the feelings. I do not think I could have a normal day knowing death was at my door. Story 7. Car pursuit with the police, loud music, and singing very loudly. Live stream the event. Donate all the stream money to an organization for cancer research. Story 8. Spend my personal savings on taking my children to Disney World. I want to make it the greatest day of their lives. Story 9. Call my mother and tell the people I love that I love them. I should do both more often. Story 10. Eat some steak or delicious food. Drink some beer, relax, and go to bed early. If I know I am going to die, I may as well die happy. Story 11. Honestly, I would spend every second with the people I love. No phones, no drama. Just real moments and lots of hugs. Story 12. Find a good home for my cat and write down all the abuse I experienced, even if nobody reads it. Story 13. Call the people I love to make arrangements for my puppy, then take her out and play. She would have the best day ever. Story 14. I would spend my money on experiences like a massage, fancy meals, and skydiving or something adventurous. After a fun day, I would gather my expensive things and give them to friends and family. I would also write down who I want to have each item. Then I would split my money and give it to my parents. I would probably end the day crying myself to sleep with my dogs by my side. Story 15. I will remember the most beautiful and important part of my life. Then I will sleep with hope to die peacefully and be free from this difficult life. Story 16. I would say goodbye to yesterday. Live each moment like my last. Leave old pictures in the past. Donate every dime I have. Live like I will never live it twice. Call old friends I never see. Remember old memories. Forgive my enemies. Find the one I am dreaming of. Swear to God above that I finally fall in love. Make my mark by mending a broken heart. Do whatever it takes. Let nothing stand in my way. Story 17. I'll go streaking around the neighborhood and hope someone records it so it goes viral and I can have my moment. Story 18. Rush to get those important meeting notes and reports together. Not, take my kids to the beach and playground, hail, rain, or shine. Story 19. I would probably spend the whole day with the people I love, eating my favorite food, playing my favorite songs, and just enjoying every moment without stressing about anything else. What about you? Story 20. Do a little research, go pick the best mushrooms I can find. Sauté them with some onions, get a really good steak, and bake a potato with a heap of butter and sour cream. Find a nice Saint Emilion Grand Cru. Enjoy my last meal and go out in a blaze of color. Story 21. Hold all of my animals as close as possible so when I am gone, they know I loved them until I could not. Also, visit my favorite relatives 30 minutes away. They will also need the closer. Story 22. I would fly to see my child one last time, then walk into the forest and hide myself so hopefully I would decompose there and my family would not have to pay for cremation. Story 23. An hour vlog of my life with all the details, then doing all the things I have anxiety about doing. Oh, and tell my coworkers to go away. Story 24. Realistically, I would probably spend the day writing letters, taking care of legal matters, and saying my goodbyes. 24 hours is not a lot of time, and this would likely take up most of the day for me. The rest would be spent hugging my wife and our pets. Every second. If I were a more unhinged individual, I might commit a serious crime similar to what Mario's brother did. If I am going out, I might as well take someone unpleasant with me. I would also spend whatever money I have left on drugs and get very high while doing it. That way, they can blame the drugs and not the so-called woke agenda or whatever. So yes, I would say my goodbyes and then, time permitting, pull a green Mario on my way out. Story 25. Go to the hospital, have them prepare a donation bed, invite friends, family, and pets over, enjoy good food, and celebrate responsibly. Story 26. I would cook one of my best meals for my close family one last time, then say our goodbyes. Then I would take a heroic dose of dimethyltryptamine. Story 27. I would try to do all the things I never had a chance to do. I would call my closest friends and family to spend the rest of my time with them. Story 28. Drive all the way back to see my parents. Spend as much time with them as my body will allow. Say goodbye to a couple of close friends. Story 29. Do anything that is extremely dangerous, since I cannot die until tomorrow. I might as well abuse the day of not being able to die to its fullest. Story 30. Leave work and go see my wife at her workplace. I would hang around until she gets off work, and we would spend the rest of the day together, falling asleep in each other's arms. Story 31. Tell my family and friends I love them and that I am sorry for all the mistakes I ever made. Then paddle out to go surfing until I catch my last wave. Story 32. Honestly, I would be relieved, and so would everyone else. I would tell them that if they really wanted to, they could play Ding Dong. The witch is dead because I know they want to. I would probably just live my day normally. Story 33. Whatever my children wanted to do, I would also ask my wife to call in to work. It would be unfortunate to die the day before my birthday, but if it is my time, it is my time, I guess. Story 34. Steal the nicest car I could find and drive it off the lot with guns firing and explosions in the background. Like in the movies. Maybe even a helicopter. Then I would go to the most beautiful natural spot I could find with no people, to admire the scenery and watch the sunset. Find a dog to bring with me. Story 35. Probably a large amount of drugs, such as the dangerous ones you would not usually try, like heroin and crack. Story 36. Spend the whole day with my husband and baby. Tell them how much I love them and make sure they know what I want done with my body after my death. Story 37. I will probably talk and visit with my family and friends as much as I can. Then I will sit and think about my past, the present, and what the future holds for those around me as I wait for my death. Story 38. I would finally have peace knowing it is over, and I do not have to do it myself. I hate my life and it would be welcomed. Story 39. Say everything that needs to be said, especially the I love yous, the thank yous, and the I'm sorries. Also, tell some people that they can go away. Hold close the people I love most, even if only in voice or message. Eat something delicious and get a little tipsy. Write something, maybe a note, a letter, or a recording, so a part of me could stay behind with the ones I love. Forgive what I can, let go of what I cannot change. Story 40. I will text all my friends something like, goodbye, it was fun, or goodbye, sorry, to anyone I had a crush on. Story 41. Eat loads of food, drink lots of alcohol, play my favorite music loud, watch some adult content. Hey damn, that is what I do anyway. Story 42. Make sure my daughter has my life insurance papers that she will need. Call my family and friends to hear their voices one last time and tell them all I love them. Then take a long quiet walk by a river or lake. Meditate on my life and make peace with myself. Story 43. I would spend the day calling people and telling them that I care about them, including children and friends. Story 44. Go through every account I have and update the password to something new. Write down the new password in a journal along with the associated website URL, access method, and username. Attempt to increase all life insurance amounts on myself. Triple check that my spouse is listed as my beneficiary for everything I own. Although I already have a will that covers most of this in the following, I will also write down suggestions for my spouse on who should get certain possessions such as books, trading card game collections, figurines, and more. Write a very short script wishing my children a happy birthday for the next several years. I will discuss the exact duration with my spouse. I would record and leave these small messages containing pearls of wisdom, well wishes, and encouragement. Then I will send them to their email addresses and save a backup on a removable hard drive we already have. Leave a short message to my family, including parents, siblings, and immediate in-laws. Spend a fun evening in a park doing something enjoyable with my spouse and children, giving them everything I can, such as ice cream, toys, or whatever they want. Tuck my children into bed, read them a book, and sing to them for the last time. Cry a lot with my spouse, then cry some more. Pray. Cry again. Go to sleep with my spouse in the guest bed in the guest room instead of our bedroom, hoping the master bedroom will not have the trauma of my spouse died right here. Also, double-line the bed with mattress protectors and lay down a towel underneath myself since dying can be messy. I will probably only complete 50 to 75% of these things due to my depression and anxiety causing a massive influx of stress. Story 45. Literally hold my wife, son, and daughter as much as I can. Cry and hate what I am about to miss out on with them. Genuinely no fear or remorse for anything else but that. Story 46. Mom, Dad, I am transgender. I am coming out to everyone so I can have my chosen name on the gravestone. Story 47. I will leave the next 20 years worth of birthday, Christmas greetings, happy wishes, video messages, and cards for my loved ones. This way, someone close to me can send them on my behalf. Story 48. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and being given such short notice of my departure feels like an early sentence to hell. I will spend all day deciding what to do, only to die before I get the chance. Story 49. Email my story to a friend to pass on to a ghostwriter, call my mother and sister, then get very drunk in virtual reality. When the time came, I would want to die in virtual reality. Story 50. Go home from work and spend time with my wife and children. I will probably cry all day because they will be left destitute. Story 51. Depends on how I die. I might try to use my death to drive home a point like, the system is so broken. For, I got food poisoning. For $99 for that? Or some political statement. Story 52. I would thank my parents for the wonderful life they gave me and say I was sorry for going before they did. Story 53. Call my dad and talk to him. Grab edibles and plenty of liquor. Meet my boyfriend at my place so we can be intimate until we cannot anymore and cuddle. Smoke a joint in bed while we write my final wishes. Then eat any unhealthy food I want for dinner. Chorizo quesadillas, pizza with extra pepperoni, honey buns, ice cream, and more alcohol. Afterward, more intimacy and cuddles. Story 54. Heroin or another opiate is probably the best feeling one can experience both physically and psychologically. However, I will not be present for the negative consequences. Story 55. Get my affairs in order, such as my savings, to ensure my family receives everything, then go to sleep and await it. Story 56. Try to finish as many of my unfinished crafts as possible. I will not be able to be with my family because they are flying back home. I will not even be able to contact them. Story 57. Go live on something, offer suggestions, and possibly end my life live on stream after raising some money for family and her friends. Story 58. Visit my father, but only for a short time. I do not want him to be the one to find me dead. Then I suppose I would sit around and wait. Story 59. I have a bucket list of things I want to do before I die, and a separate list for things I want to do if I am going to die tomorrow. It is mostly whores, homicide, overdosing on heroin. Story 60. I would make sure my affairs were in order so that my life insurance policy paid out properly and my children were taken care of. I would make sure my ex-wife knew how important every moment spent with her was, and that my only regret in our marriage was that I destroyed it. I would spend the rest of the day with my children, reassuring them that they were the greatest things to ever happen to me and that they should live their lives full of happiness. I have lived a life of regrets and mistakes, but I have worked toward becoming a better man. I hope that my family knows that and remembers me fondly. Story 61. I would like to spend my remaining time with my family and ask forgiveness from all the people I have hurt. Story 62. Complete a will leaving everything to my daughter, transfer all of my savings to her, and spend the rest of the day with her. Story 63. Does anyone else know I am going to die? If no one does and only I know, I would take out a high payout life insurance policy on myself. That way, I would know I am bringing some happiness to those I am leaving behind. Story 64. Break the no contact order and wait at her house to tell her what she meant to me and to let her know that she hurt me without a second thought for no reason. Story 65. Write a will leaving everything to my brother. Make sure he knows where all the important items are immediately, including the paperwork for my life insurance policies and the passwords to my cryptocurrency accounts. Inform my secret keeper that the time is near to tell him where all the other things are. Then, I will just enjoy the day with my dad and brother as best as I can. Story 66. Spend all day with my 2 babies and my husband. I would love to fall asleep in the same bed with all 3 of them, knowing I would not be alive tomorrow. Story 67. Talk to God. Eat a gummy and breathe. Call my best friend and tell her I love her. Love on my animals. Spend the day with my boyfriend. Clean the bathroom. Make a casserole for my boyfriend. Get out the important documents for my boyfriend. Talk to God. Story 68. I would go home. I moved away 3 years ago and immediately regretted it. Every waking moment of my life is spent wishing I could just pack up and go back home, but I had to renew my lease, and buying a home is so expensive. At this point, I don't even care about buying a house. Back home, I'd be happy to rent, but again, I just renewed the lease. If I were going to die tomorrow, there would be no reason to buy a house or sign a new lease. My parents wouldn't mind me staying in my old room for one night, and that's where I'm happiest anyway. I just want to go home. Story 69. I visit all the people I love to say goodbye. Then I do activities that I enjoy. Finally, I relax in the evening and try everything that is happening. Story 70. Writing letters for everyone I hold dear. For family, it is probably apologizing for my shortcomings. For friends, it is thanking them for being there and encouraging them to pursue whatever path they are on. Story 71. Spend the day with my children by the ocean, telling them all the things I want them to know and remember. Story 72. Say goodbye to all my family and my friends and spend the day with them. Then finish by hugging my dog so she knows how much I love her. Story 73. Given that I do not have a will, am unmarried and childless, I would call a lawyer friend to quickly prepare one to ensure all my savings, belongings, and condominium are bequeathed to friends who need them more than my already well-off upper-middle-class retired parents. Edit, also, a large amount of drugs and whiskey afterward. Story 74. Make my husband skip work. Family game night with him and my 2 boys. Cuddle my pets and family while watching movies. Be intimate with my husband one more time. Die happy. Story 75. Cancel my upcoming appointments. Make sure someone is here to take care of my dog. Put some plastic sheeting over my mattress in case I die in bed. Pay all my bills and eat ice cream for dinner tonight. Story 76. I would relish the chance to be reunited with my wife. So, quite literally, I would celebrate as if there were no tomorrow. Story 77. I guess I would just invite my close family and friends over and see if they have any questions for me before I go. Story 78. Practical things first. Make sure beneficiary designations are set. Set aside cash for immediate payments that need to be made. Consider creating a simple will focusing on the distribution of certain personal property. I would probably make a video to show at my funeral. I am not sure what I would say. Then I would probably spend the day on the phone. There are many people to say important things to. Most calls would be short but meaningful. Story 79. I would tell everyone I care about that I love them. I would make sure my I am dead, now what book was up to date with passwords, last wishes, and so on. I would liberally apply my favorite perfume, listen to my favorite songs, and if there is no chance of rain, I would dance under a hose shower outside. Story 80. Gather as much of my family and my husband's family together as possible and enjoy our last hours together. Story 81. Go to my mom's to spend some quality hours, have intimate moments with my ex, best experience I had, get fast food to go, confront my old boss, cuddle my dogs and cats, and then watch the last sunset while video calling people. Story 82. Call the ex who left without a real explanation. It wouldn't matter though. I would probably go to the nicest restaurant in my town. Story 83. I would go to the bank, take out a huge loan and live like a drug dealer for a day. Let the government pay for it. I am leaving. Story 84. Contact a lawyer to draw up my will. Call everyone I want to talk to. Update my profile on dating apps to find some sympathy sex. I would not inform my employer and just let them find out afterward. Story 85. Among other things, ensure my will was up to date. Seriously, folks, make sure you have one. I lost both parents in the space of 3 months last year. Neither had a will, and it has been an absolute disaster like no other. Story 86. I would have lunch with friends, dinner with family, and spend the rest of the evening visiting those who have wronged me. Story 87. I am preparing my sister about my cats, their likes, food preferences, and more. Then I will love them all until it is time. Story 88. I'm so sorry to have caused you so much pain your whole lives. Now that I am back in balance, I realize how much I have lost in life, and know I will never be able to replace it or be forgiven for the harm I have caused you. Be better without me. Blaze until I am asleep. Story 89. I would likely storyboard my novel and pass it to a friend to finish, since they have helped with much of the story. I would also pass off my tabletop role-playing game campaigns and work-in-progress sourcebooks to others with detailed notes. I would write farewell messages on social media, transfer ownership of my Discord server to a friend, reset my gaming PC for my children, and spend the rest of the day cuddled up with my children, my wife, and the cat that likes to use me as a cat bed. Story 90. Spend half the day with my husband, talk to my sister the other half, and hold and love our cats as much as possible. I would also try to visit my favorite afternoon tea place and then my favorite seafood restaurant for dinner in between. So yes, intimacy, eating, cuddles, and family love, all the essentials. Story 91. Spend the day with my husband and daughters. Send a mass text to my closest friends and family saying I love them and thank you for making my life better. Story 92. Drive to my girlfriend's, have sex until 11:30, drive to a park, watch the stars until I die. Story 93. Take the fart spray out of my top dresser drawer. I do not want anyone to think about why I would have it. I actually do not remember when or why I got it, or if it was ever used. Story 94. Make calls to family and friends. Nothing sentimental though. Make sure my affairs are in order. Go over my will and related documents with my executor. Probably say a nice prayer too, just in case there is a heaven. Drink a bottle of 50-year-old scotch with my best friends. Story 95. Get an express ticket to a specific place and try my best at something that truly needs to be taken care of. Story 96. Well, as it is already late in the day right now, I will write a note for my parents and family and then continue with my life. I do not want people to worry about me. Oh, and I will probably clean my room some more because I do not want to leave a mess. Story 97. It would be too late to travel to Thailand. I would be dead by then before I get to the airport, not to mention the visa process. I think I would just tell my boss I am going to die so their company can find someone to replace me as a director. Then I would go on a last hike by myself, probably Flagstaff or somewhere in Arizona that is not 100 degrees right now. Then just sit on a mountain I climbed and lie there all evening until night, listening to my favorite playlists before I die. Maybe watch episodes of my favorite shows or a movie. My last moments definitely vibing to my favorite music and contemplating the point of my existence as my eyes stare into the stars before they dull. Maybe I would not tell my family right away, only until the last few minutes. They would be upset and make it stressful. I would rather walk away in peace into nature before I go than be surrounded by sad, weepy people probably trying to rationalize and rage about the situation. That is not the condition I want to be in before I die. I have always been a closed-off person, so I do not see why I would not then. Story 98. If it is guaranteed that I will die, then I would actually pay for time with someone to have fun with, men and women. Story 99. Have a heart-to-heart with my parents and my brothers. Probably would go hang out with them until my time was up. Maybe we would go to Six Flags or something. Story 100. Spending lots of time with family, friends, and loved ones. Eating my favorite foods. Deleting my internet history. Story 101. I hit my head really hard because I can't deal with the stress of knowing I'm gonna die. Story 102. Walk around. Enjoy the sensations of the cold wind. Be mindful of anything you feel. Maybe that way I can find peace. Story 103. I would contact my worst relative-in-law. I would tell them what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, deceitful, low-life, untrustworthy, ignorant, heartless person they are. Now my life is complete. Story 104. Family time, I imagine. But who needs a day to be reunited because it is so far away? I think we would indulge in food and do cool things that we like. Activities for which we never have enough time in a day. Also, I would leave with a clean and orderly house, taking care to organize my papers clearly for the people who will manage the rest of the events. Story 105. I would need a 2-week notice. I am too indecisive and would take too long to choose something. If I had only 1 day's notice, I would do nothing because I would be too busy figuring out what to do. Story 106. Give thanks to God throughout. Seeing my children, my parents, and friends, and thanking them for the time they took to be with you, whether short or long. Seeing the smiles of my elderly relatives and children is a blessing. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.